first 2 weeks of raising a litter can be a lot of work. Much of the breeder's role during this time is consumed with just keeping everyone clean, fed, and healthy. But this is also the time when the puppy's neurological system is forming, and we can influence the way it forms. Babies invoke the protective instinct in us all, and our natural impulse is to make things as easy as possible for them, and to shield them from anything that upsets them even mildly. However, research on dogs, rats, primates, and even chickens all shows the same thing. Stressing neonates very slightly produces beneficial effects on them for the rest of their lives. Protocols for early neurological stimulation of puppies have been popularized in a well-known article by Dr. Carmen Battaglia. Dr. Battaglia breeds German Shepherds. He's an AKC judge and a director of the AKC. He's the author of many books and DVDs on dog breeding, and thousands of breeders follow his website, breedingbetterdogs.com. We spoke with Dr. Battaglia about his recommended protocols and the potential benefits they can confer on the puppies.
Well, what the research shows is during this neonatal period, if you stimulate the neurological system of the puppy, you can change the puppy for the rest of its life. What are the results of early neurological stimulation? Greater tolerance of stress, greater resistance to disease, faster adrenal system, stronger heart rate, and a stronger heartbeat. So if you stimulate the neurological system during this window of time, which as it turns out is between 3 days and 16 days of life, you can change this puppy for the rest of its life. Based on the research of the biosensor program, there's 5 stimulating exercises. The first one is called tactile stimulation, where we take a Q-tip and we tickle the puppy between any one of its toes. So we do that 3 to 5 seconds. The research shows that kind of stimulation stimulates the tactile system, the skin of the puppy, and it wakes up the neurological system. Now we hold the puppy's head up so that his head's up and his tail's down, and again you would count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're letting blood drain from his brain, and the neurological system would recognize that and tell the heart to pump blood back up into the brain, maintaining equilibrium. The third exercise is to hold the puppy's head down, so his head is down, and we count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now too much blood is running down into the brain. So now we're making the neurological system work in a different way because we presented a different problem. The fourth exercise is called the supine position, where the puppy's simply on his back. And we count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Most of them will resist being held on their back, and they will start to move around in your hands. But the neurological system, again, is being challenged and being told to go to work. And the fifth position is thermal stimulation. You take a washcloth, ordinary washcloth, wring it out, put it in your refrigerator for 30 minutes so it's cold. Set the washcloth on the table, and take this puppy that you've just held and put him 4 feet down on this cold washcloth and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the puppy will clearly tell you he doesn't like being on this cold surface, but you're making the neurological system respond to a temperature change on the puppy's body. And as they get older, they will try to walk off of it. Don't hold them and restrict their movement. So put them on a big flat surface so they're not going to run off the table, but they can find a way off of it. And those are the 5 stimulating exercises. Breeders often ask the question, if I already handle my puppies, why should I do this? And the answer basically is this: handling the puppies, stroking them, there's good research to show that this is helpful because it lowers blood pressure. But stimulating the neurological system is different. When you normally handle a puppy, you don't hold them with their head up. You don't hold them on their back. You don't put them on a cold towel. These are specific kinds of stimulations that are unlike the normal handling that a breeder does in day-to-day handling of their litter. So we don't want to discourage that. Breeders should continue to pick their puppies up and touch them and stroke them. That's very good for their blood pressure. But stimulating the exercise that I've just described is much different, and it is very helpful to those, as I've already mentioned, who do it this way. So my recommendation is you do both.
But, Dr. Battaglia cautions, when it comes to neonatal stimulation, more is not better. Too much stimulation can cause irreparable harm to the puppies. So the question becomes, how much is too much?
Too much stimulation is the other side of the question. The normal handling of a dog that an average person would do is not overstimulation. Unless you do those exercises and hold the puppy in that restricted and confined way for longer than the periods we've talked about, you're in a safe zone.
There's one additional caveat with early neurological stimulation, and that is if for any reason the litter is already stressed, do not add the additional stress of early neurological stimulation. For example, dew claw removal or tail docking, you would want to give a window of time after that before you began early neurological stimulation. You have to look at each puppy and each litter and use common sense.
You do this once a day for each puppy in the litter from 3 to 16 days. And for the rest of their life, these puppies will have stronger heartbeats, stronger heart rates. They will have an adrenaline system that moves faster when they need it. They will have more resistance to disease and greater tolerance of stress for the rest of their life. A gift you can only give them once during the window 3 to 16 days.
Generally speaking, keeping a litter of puppies alive for the first 1 to 2 weeks is a skill. And it's a roller coaster ride. It can be very frightening, and there's a lot of responsibility, and I mean, sometimes the puppies don't make it. It's exhausting, but it can also be very rewarding.